Welcome to Impact Wrestling. And this is now the fourth time I've recorded it because I had to keep angering myself because of one major problem. Twitch. Twitch no longer has Impact Wrestling on Thursdays. It is done now. On YouTube, they have the join button where they have the Insider or the Pro. You got to choose one of them or watch this on Access TV, which I'm going to have to do. I have to figure a way to watch Access TV because I can't afford that right now because I'm going to be paying a big bill soon because I went to a doctor. I don't want to explain any more than that, but $1 will feed this mouth. So will $4.99. So I have to do what I got to do. I'm not happy. I want to pay my bills. I'd rather pay for the real stuff because they deserve it, but we're in a pandemic still. Anyway, was this a good show? Yes, it was. It was a good show when I finally got to see it. I was a couple of minutes late. I had to do what I needed to do like I normally do to see the content. So the opening was Juice Robinson versus Chris Bay. I don't agree with this. Now, mind you, was this a bad match? I want to make this clear. When I caught it, it was already active. It was already going on. And it looked good. Chris Bay looked great. Juice Robinson, you could take or leave him. I actually like Dave Finlay better as a wrestler than Juice Robinson. But Juice is more of a character than he is a wrestler. Not saying he can't wrestle, but you got Dave, who is more of a wrestler than a character. And you got Juice Robinson, who is a character more than a wrestler. Dave is more of a wrestler than a character. That makes sense. Anyway, it was good, and Bay won. But now, Bay is part of the Bullet Club. Why? There in my face. I believe I got a shot of Bay and Ray White. And Chris Bay's got the new Bullet Club shirt. Why couldn't they wait until Emergence to make it mean? Oh, they can't. I forgot because when is the New Japan Pro Wrestling show? Is it on the same day? I think it's the 21st. I'm not exactly sure. But wouldn't it have been better to do it on Emergence? Hell, wouldn't it have been better to wait until afterward and do it at another Impact Plus show to make it mean something? They do it right here. And supposedly Emergence is 2 weeks from now. And I think New Japan Pro Wrestling's resurgence is supposedly a day or two after that. I don't think it's on the same day. I think it's a day or two after. So you could have, well, I know that Jay White is going to have to go to Seattle. So I'm sure he could not do it. But I think it would have been better if they just built up into it instead of rushed into it. This is what we got in the show that I don't 100% agree with. I think the content is still good, but I don't agree with it because a lot of things seem to be rushed. And I know a lot of people would say, this is great content, but it's still rushed content, guys. Rushed content doesn't always equate to better content than the WWE. That kind of makes you think of the WWE because they like to rush stuff. And in this situation, why did they rush it? I'm just saying. Next, we had the Matthew Ray White, Rayot. Just Matthew. I'm still getting his name down. And he was Dana Perot. He's with... you know why I'm botching? Because we got Melina. Melina is the opponent of Dana Purrazzo. Really? You're using Melina. You couldn't use someone else? Wouldn't it have been nice to have champion versus champion? It didn't have to be for a title. Unless Camille has something to do at Emergence, because I haven't seen the Champion series yet. So I don't know what happened on this episode. Of course, we still got more than a few more episodes before they have their End Power and they have their 73 anniversary. So I don't know what happened on this show. I'm going to see if I can see it this week, this Friday. Do it quickly and get it up to you guys because you haven't seen it. Also, I have my, well, because of this, and I had to go to see my doctor, I didn't upload my Gump report, but I do have one, and I'm going to upload it Saturday. Unless there's something else going on, you should see it Saturday. Not two of them in the same day. I'm not going to do the NWA Power Championships series and put the Gump report on the same day. I'm going to do it the next day. But wouldn't it have been better to have champion versus champion just to make it interesting? To have the NWA champion of Camille go up against the Impact champion of Dana Purrazzo. I think it would have been interesting. They didn't even have to put the titles up. But in this situation, once Mickie Jane came out, she's in my face. Damn, Andrew, those titties. What the heck was she wearing? You could see loveliness. The woman's 40, I think 40 years old or 41, still looking lovely. The body of a goddess after having a kid. It's good to see a Powhatan. That's her tribe. She's half white, half Powhatan. Good to see a Native American show herself. And she made it very clear she's not trying to insult anybody, but it's a handshake that they talked about. She wanted to make it real, and she wanted to say this is going to be for your title. You're going to come to Empower, and you're going up against this person, which is Melina. Honestly, I'd rather see Terrence Terrell go up against her than Melina, Miss Wardrobe Malfunction. Guys, I'm not saying Melina's bad. She looked beautiful. That split was lovely. And the top she was wearing, I believe I got a shot of it. She wasn't wearing a bra. She was basically wearing what she had and showing what she got. It's not nice to say it like that, but she knows what she's doing. She's showing the beauty of her body, but also showing that she's still flexible and can still go in the ring. That's the truth. But I'd rather see someone other than Melina. Wouldn't it have been better to have who? You could have done Killer Frost. I know that she's a low ranked, yes, but you could have done that. You could have done Terrence Terrell. You could have done a Kylie Ray. I know you're going to think, wait, Kylie Ray? Yeah, why not? Kylie Ray and her never really got a chance to do anything because of Kylie Ray's mental illness. She was not stable. Maybe it'll work this time around because she's in a different promotion. They could have gone up against each other and they could have actually made a story around that. Kylie Ray coming back to Impact briefly, showing that she's a stronger woman after being gone for a while and that she's getting an opportunity to go after the Impact Knockouts title. I don't agree with it, but I'm not saying the match won't be good. It will be good. I'm sure Melina's going to do well as long as she doesn't have a wardrobe malfunction. I'm not trying to insult her. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. What happened with Terrence Terrell weeks upon weeks ago, that was not good, even though everybody wanted to see it happen badly. But I'm sure it'll be a good match, but I really wanted someone different. Now, let's move on to Taylor Wilde and also All About Me with Tennille Dashwood. I'm going to do that, both of them together. Tennille Dashwood calls in, what is the guy? Rusty Foreman, I believe. That's his name, the doctor. Wanting to say, hey, you want to say something on my show? Ask a question. Hell, ask Caleb a question. His neck is hurting. And the doc's going like, what do you want me to do? And then we get a Scott coming out, telling the doc to leave, sits down, whacks a Caleb on the shoulder multiple times, which hurt his neck, and he grabbed at his neck. He just abused Caleb. And he made it very clear. After what happened to a Taylor Wilde, who interviewed earlier, stating that 2 months ago she was doing great, she was happy, but someone, because she's a Canadian, she goes across the border, someone said she was a little sus. If you've ever seen the wonderful Among Us, you know what suspect means. a little questionable, a little untrusting. And she was supposedly sus. And then she was not allowed to go across the border because she had to be investigated. Now she brought charges up to Impact Wrestling because the person how it looked like that did it was named Ken with a K. Really? They couldn't come up with something more clever than Ken. But the point is that he was all about me. He made it very clear to make sure there's no charges anymore, that there's no fees, that you will not be deported yourself. You have a match with her. Do the match, get it over with, and it'll be done. And she's not happy about it. And that is Tennille Dashwood just basically saying, I am not happy about this. It is unfair. Scott is a bully. That's what Caleb said. She agreed with him. And then that's the end of the segment. Now, here's the thing, guys. I said this weeks ago. When she came back, she should have did an immediate interview to explain why she wasn't there and why she wanted Caleb's head on a platter to put him in the ring and whoop his ass. Why couldn't they done this earlier? Why couldn't she just beat up on Tennille, beat up on Caleb, and then do her interview and explain that this very thing? Why did we have it 2 weeks later? This made no sense. It was out of order. It was like they decided they were going to do it, but they didn't have an idea how they wanted to do it. And then they finally did the interview to do it. If you guys think this was done well, more power to you. But as a reviewer, I have to see it for what it is. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And this was out of order. It made no sense for her to do it 2 weeks later. And she attacked Caleb, didn't have the match next week, and then now you get this. Why couldn't she come in, attack Caleb or Tennille, have the interview in the ring? That would have made sense. Or the next week, she says this and then asks or demands to Scott that I want both of them. Get me both of them or I'm going to sue Impact. That would have made sense. This seemed to be half-assed. It just seems like they just decided to let her attack them and not really give enough context because they hadn't figured it out. That's just me, guys. Tell me below. Now, we get the Su Yung and Kimberly momentarily showing that Kimberly is going to obey her queen, her mistress, to do whatever she wants. The question is going to be, how is Kimberly going to react? Because here's the thing. You see Kimberly. She's in my face. Great face paint. She looked great. But here is the question. Can she pull this off? Now, it doesn't mean she doesn't have the ability to be able to be character. But it's going to be how she's going to be in character in the ring. Will she just be the same way she is? Or will she be able to expand herself? Allie, when she was doing her bit, did very well with her bit, but her ring work sucked. Remember, my nose is itching. Sorry, guy, I hadn't taken my allergy medicine. My nose is itching so bad. But remember, Allie had great character, but bad ring work. Her ring work was atrocious, but her character was great. So Kimberly, the question is going to be for Kimber, is she going to have a great character with great ring work? She has to change it up now. She can't do what she normally would do. She can't be Kimberly. She's got to be an undead bride. So that's going to be the question. Moving on. Now, we got the #1 contendership for the X Division. We got Davari, Jake Something. We got Trey. And we got Raju with a Shira at ringside, which I don't agree. Why was Shira there? Oh, my nose is itchy. I don't know why Shira is still on the roster. Not because I think he's a piece of garbage. Guys, it counts on how you booked a guy or girl. It counts on how you booked them. Yes, it also counts on the in-ring work. It counts on the character. It counts if they can carry a character and tell a story in the ring. Shira, from 110 to 0, he's roughly about here. Somewhere in between. An okay wrestler with the ability to do okay character work. But he's been so badly typecast. He's a waste of space. Want to see him go somewhere else and do something else. Go to MLW, go to AEW, go to NWA, go somewhere. Somewhere. He needs it. He needs a fresh coat of paint. So was the match good? It was actually quite good. Jake something and Trey looked the best. Spidey looked really good. Let's be honest. Trey looked like Spidey. He did a great job. But they decided to go with Jake something instead of Trey Miguel. Now, here's the thing. Do I believe Jake something could win the title? Yes. But wouldn't it have been more interesting that Trey Miguel win the title from Josh Alexander, which I know he won't. Neither guy is going to win against Josh Alexander. They're not going there, at least not yet. If they are going to do what I suggested, they're going to let him work all the way up until maybe September. Then they're going to give him the option C capability. And then he drops it, and then he goes after Kenny Omega. That will be his next challenger. Counting if Kenny does not job. That's going to be the question. Let's move on. All right. Hood Rats versus Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering. Now, it gets interesting. Rachel and Jordan are now wearing the same clothes. The same style of clothes. There you go. I'm not saying they're wearing the clothes. They're not that close, I don't think. But they're wearing the same style of clothes. They're matching now. So that makes it at least interesting for the tag division, which is pretty much non-existent because what do we got? How many women do we have? We have Rosemary and Havoc. We have Jordan Grace. And we have Rachel Ellering. Who else do we have? I mean, we got still the Kimberly and the Su Yung, but that's only 3 teams. 3, unless you're going to talk about what just happened. Now, this, I believe, was the last match for Kiera Hogan. Now, I know that one of my subscribers said that Kiera has lost her luster. Now, I can understand why. Because of all the tag team wrestling she did. I understand it. And I believe it was Andre who said it. And I do understand and respect him. But I do believe it was because of the tag team wrestling she did. Doing the same thing so many times, she became boring. Does not mean she's a bad wrestler or a bad character. I do believe she's very good. But doing the same thing as a tag team specialist with the same people that never change, it's going to be boring. So, this match was pretty much, how can I say this to you guys? It was okay. But it just felt like it was prolonging the inevitable. They had to break these two up. It was her time. So Jordan Grace and I think it was Rachel who got the pin. Yeah, I think it was Rachel Ellering who got the pin on the Kiera Hogan. They walked away. And I think it was kind of strange to see that Rachel wanted to hit a Jordan Grace on the back and she was too far away and she went, unless she did do it because it didn't seem to look like it. But when that was done, Tasha rolls back into the ring. She is looking to burn a hole for Kiera. She was not happy what happened at Homecoming and she ain't happy here. She don't like losing. So then we got Sierra Evans. Now, I've never seen Sierra Evans before, but there she is, and I believe she's in my face if I got the shot, by herself without trying to destroy Kiera Hogan yet. She's a big-ass woman. And she completely annihilates Kiera. Kiera. She annihilates her. Now, the question is it over? Is this her last time to be seen on Impact Television? This is a question. My guess is yes. But it could be a possibility that they may have filmed a little bit more where she's going to job to Sierra Evans. She might do that for them. Just before she leaves, she does maybe 1 or 2 more matches. I think if she does do 1 more match, it'll just be her going after this woman and getting annihilated by this woman. Completely destroyed. And then we never see her again because she's not in the company anymore. That's what I think, but you guys tell me below. Now, what do we got here? McLean versus the Jobber. I can't remember the guy's name. He made the biggest mistake. He made the biggest mistake of his damned adult life. He decides, once McClain comes into the ring. He turns his back to him. No. McClain is going to destroy your ass, which he did. He elbowed the... He annihilated the guy. He didn't even break a sweat destroying and annihilating this guy, who many people, even Matt Striker, saying, I don't even know how this guy got on TV. At least he gets to show his friends and his family, I got on Impact TV. This is your shot. And he gets annihilated. And he's about to get beaten up with a chair until Petey Williams comes in and basically whoops a little bit of the McClain ass. And McClain backs away. Now, do I believe this is the wisest thing to do for McClain? Yes. He is an established staple of Impact. I still wish he was Make Believe Muscle. For me personally, I'd rather see Petey Williams as Make Believe Muscle and doing the same lines as a Big Papa Pump. But he's not doing it. So as an established original of Impact, this is the best way to get McClain over. It is. Now, what do we got here? I got to say this before I get to the last parts. The crowds were good. But I am not fond of still seeing them stuck at Nashville, Tennessee. Why are they still there? Guys, look. I understand, let's make this clear, guys. I understand that there's some problems right now. The Delta variant of COVID is showing itself in several states. We got maybe 1/3 of the country vaccinated. And I'm not telling people to vaccinate or not to vaccinate. I know it's easy to say it. I know. But people have rights. Until they make it mandatory for everybody, you still got rights. Whether I agree with it or not. I'm not going to give you my opinion on it. But right now, Impact has been in the same venue for more than a few years. You can feel that they need to move away from that venue. They need to go somewhere else and establish themselves in a new place. They need it. I'm not saying they need to travel around like AEW and WWE. I'm not. I'm saying, if anyone could understand this, that if you're in the same place like I am, I've been in the same place 22 years, and you want to move, and you have the ability to move, I don't yet, you want a new coat of paint. You want a new environment, a new venue that can give you more space, can give you better options. And that is what they need right now. They need new options. They need a fresh coat of paint. And seeing the same venue for the tickets, and D'Lo is trying his hardest to say that. They are selling a hotcakes. Really? They may sell out because guess what? You have maybe 150 to 200 people coming in. Of course you're going to sell out, motherfucker. You're going to sell at a venue if you don't have more than 200 people that can be in the damn thing. And that's if they don't say social distancing. The place was already small as it is. You need a new venue. That's what they need. They feel so empty. Now, you have, let me see here. Now I could say what's going to happen with Violence by Design, the Good Brothers, and when it comes to Rich and Willie. But I'm leaving it because I want to see what's going to happen in the Battle Royal next week. I want to know what's going to happen because that's also going to motivate how Rich and Willie are going to be working when they go into that match, because it's going to be a three-way for them I forgot the name of it. Elevation. There you go. I think it's called Elevation. Not much different from the AEW. They're taking names from each other. But anyway, when it comes down to it, the last match of the night, 6-man tag, Kenny and the Good Brothers versus Sammy, Eddie, and Kaz. Was good. It wasn't perfect. It was good. Kaz did have a couple of trips because he tried to do a flip inside. He didn't get the right rotation that he wanted off of Carl Anderson when he was about to go up to Luke. But I'll say it wasn't too bad. The rest of the match was pretty good. And at one point near the end of it, you got Sammy basically nailing Kenny, and it's in my face, I believe I have the shot, to try and make sure that Carl could not get help from Kenny because Eddie was about to do a Boston knee party. Match was done. Faces win. Okay. And then you get a little worried. You get a little worried because once Kenny was laid out, and I believe I got a shot of him with his hand in the shot, that Don grabbed his hand because he was holding his neck pretty good after he got that pile driver on the apron. Because he was grabbing his hand. That's how they check to see if you're all right, if you can feel, because he was holding his neck. So hopefully Kenny's not hurt. If he's fine, that's good. If he's not, that's not good. But afterwards, Morrissey comes out and destroys Eddie. That means the feud is still going on. Another feud that you wonder where they're going to go with it. Because look, got to say it like this. When it comes to Moose and Sabin, and I know I'm not really going to talk much about Sabin's interview, but when it comes to Moose and Sabin, that should be over. And it's not, because Moose and Sabin are floating. So now you got Morrissey and Eddie Edwards. Why are they even bothering one another? Morrissey, he wants to go after people. He could have ended it. Moves on to the next person. Hell, he can destroy Petey Williams if McLean wasn't messing with him. He can go after somebody else who's established one, Tommy Dreamer. He can go after and attack him. So I just don't agree with the floating for Morrissey, Eddie, or Sabin and Moose. Because they got nothing for them to do. Really, they don't. Unless they're going to put them into a tag team, which they're not, where they could be going after the titles. You basically got 4 guys, 2 feuds that are basically floater feuds. And you don't really want to see it that way, even though the matches these guys have had have not been bad. When it comes to Sabin and Moose, it's been decent to very good to good wrestling. And Morrissey, when it comes to Eddie, it's not that good. Morrissey is a big guy. He still has to work himself out. He's never been one of the greatest wrestlers. His character working with Enzo Amore made him very good. Being 7 foot tall does not mean you're a great wrestler. Remember, the Giant Gonzalez? He was never that good. So I'm not taking anything away from Morrissey. I just think he needs more work. But you got 2 floater feuds with 2 guys that I think should not be floating, like Eddie or Moose. I can understand Sabin going against Morrissey. That actually would make sense, because he's another old established wrestler in Impact. But this is what you get. And I hope you enjoy this Impact Wrestling review, and I don't even have a name for it. What am I going to call it? Floater feuds. There you go. Peace.